Hi, this is Bob Vide, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811. PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's A-B-A-C-O. EnjoyAbaco.com.
As I sail across the sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
EnjoyAbaco.com.
Hello, I'm Reverend Carl Kelly, and I head up the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Indiana. President Obama's attacks on the Constitution continues to be aided and abetted by one of his trusted allies in Congress, ultra-liberal Democrat Andre Caution of Indianapolis, nationally known for his infamous racial rants against the Tea Party. I want to tell you about J.D. Manier. J.D. will be a representative for the people of the 7th District. J.D. Manier is a pro-growth Reagan conservative and is co-host of the conservative Commandos Radio show. He is asking you to join his army of supporters in order to defeat Carson and go to Washington to demand special prosecutors for Benghazi, the IRS, and other scandals. J.D. is interested in what's good for the people of the 7th District, not Nancy Pelosi. He will promote strong economic growth and jobs by getting the government off the backs of the people, voting for tax cuts and slashing regulations. Help elect a pro-life defender of freedom who will strongly support Israel, vote to cut wasteful spending, and battle to repeal Obama's socialist agenda. Log on to ManierForCongress.com and donate today. That's MINIEAR for Congress.com. Paid for and authorized by the J.D. Manier for Congress Committee.
I'm J.D. Manier, candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives, Indiana District 7, and I approve of this message.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the Internet. We're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360 and WIFI 1460. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard. You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody, and welcome, fellow patriots, and welcome once again to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. I am Rick Trader, coming to you live from the CCR studios, that of WNJC 1360, and of course around the world on the Internet. And glad to have you with us today on this very first day of spring 2014. And joining me to celebrate the end of winter is my very good friend Sharon Engel. Sharon, welcome to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show.
Thanks, Rick, and happy first day of spring to you. It's always great when we get springtime in Nevada. The trees have budded out, and of course in northern Nevada we have snow. So the snow is gone, the grass is green. We're loving it here.
Well, actually, we just, the last of our snow just left us yesterday. And, of course, they're calling for more snow next week, so it's just been one of those winters. I actually love the snow, Sharon. I'd love to see it. I just think it makes everything so beautiful. It's just too bad everyone can't stay home inside and get a cup of hot chocolate or a cup of coffee or tea and sit by a window and just watch it snow and enjoy it.
Well, you're very close to Punxsutawney Phil there, right? He comes out, sees a shadow, and goes back in.
Well, I don't know. What do you want to call close? 400 miles?
Yeah.
Is that close? Is 400 miles close? I guess it's closer than you are. Well, have you ever been to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania?
I haven't.
Okay, I have. And it's interesting there. They've got this building. It almost looks like a billboard, a glass billboard. It's probably about 40 foot long and about 10 foot high and about 10 foot deep. And it's heated, and they got Punxsutawney Phil and Phyllis in there, and they've got huts for them and a real habitat. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of cute. So you can go see Punxsutawney Phil and Phyllis even days other than Groundhog Day.
Well, that's great, but you've now got to the first day of spring, and are we waiting for more? Did Punxsutawney Phil see a shadow? Are you waiting for more winter? It sounds like it.
Well, I guess when you talk about the predictions, the weather predictions, I guess Punxsutawney Phil is probably as accurate as the Weather Channel. So, so it's kind of like you got a coin. Your coin has two sides, right? Just flip it in the air. Heads more winter, tails less winter, and you got just about as good as chance as predicting by flipping a coin, I think.
I think you're right, and it's a shame because our trees, like I said, all our fruit trees are budded out here, but what happens in Nevada is we always have a killing freeze around Memorial Day weekend, and when that happens, no fruit in Nevada.
Well, that's a shame. I always think of, in my opinion, spring officially arrives when the forsythia bloom. And that usually happens about in the, the last month of March. Of course, last year we had such a cold spring, the forsythia didn't really bloom until about the second week or a little later in April. Of course, that's all because of this global warming or climate change. Oh, by the way, Sharon, it used to be called global warming, right? And then a lot of people thought, well, gee, it's getting colder, it's not warming, so we're going to call it climate change. Well, the Weather Channel, or at least Al Roker on the Weather Channel, has a new thing to call it. It's climate crises. It's climate crises now. So everything's a crisis.
Wow.
Everything's
just have to continue to morph on this thing, don't we? It's some constant metamorphosis because their words are so hard for us to understand with the truth of what's going on. And that's what has happened with most everything that the president has been doing these days with the Crimea, with Obamacare, with Fast and Furious, Benghazi, the IRS, NSA. They have a spin on everything that I think the American people are starting to get wise.
Well, but you see, none of that matters, Sharon. Can I tell you why none of that matters?
Sure.
Because Barack Obama is perceived to be a good guy. And you know why he is a good guy? Why? Because he has made his pick for the NCAA basketball brackets. And, oh, that makes him a good guy. You see, Sharon, and that's what we need to lead our country. We need a good guy to lead our country, somebody who could pick who the winner of the NCAA basketball tournament is. We need a good guy. We don't need a president. Heck, all the problems you mentioned, what do we need a president for? We need a good guy, somebody who knows something about basketball.
Well, I guess we've got him then, if that's all it takes.
Hey, Sharon, before we go to our break, why don't we run down our list of guests?
Sure. Well, we have at 3:35 Elizabeth Villette, and she's going to be talking to us about to enroll or not to enroll. That's the question. And what she's talking about is Obamacare. This March 31st deadline that's coming on us, is it really what Americans want to do? And are they really doing it? So we're going to listen and learn a little bit about what's going on with enrollment and whether we want to participate in that program.
All right. At around 4:05, we're going to be speaking with Ken Shepard. He's with the Media Research Center, and he works there as a news analyst and Business and Media Institute staff writer and contributor. He's also the managing editor for newsbusters.org, and Ken and I are going to be talking about what I was just blurting about how CBS and ABC fawn over Obama's NCAA picks in Barackatology. So that's what we're going to be getting into with Ken Shepard.
Well, and our last guest this afternoon is Eileen Singer. She's with the Heritage Foundation, but she's reporting on something that's happening right here in my state, in Las Vegas. This is outrageous. A man who signed up for Obamacare now owes $407,000 in medical bills.
Why is that? Medical care is free. Everybody's covered. Didn't he get the message?
Well, I've got some news on that coverage right here in Nevada. These state exchanges are so bad. They're worse than the federal exchange, if you can believe that. And the reason is because we get to pay double.
Mm-hmm.
And
double.
We pay with our income taxes for healthcare.gov. And then those of us that have state exchanges also pay for those state exchanges. We're putting out $1.5 million to fix the bad website for our exchange. Not to fix the exchange, but just to fix the website. And we're giving it to the same guys that broke it. They've already gotten $75 million, and now we're going to pour another $1.5 million into the same company, Xerox, and asking them to fix it. It's incredible what's going on. We have a number of people that needed to have insurance. They figure there's 650,000 people that are uninsured in Nevada. Only 22,000 have signed up on the exchange, and there's 10,000 more that have signed up but not paid, and there's 69,000 that have looked at it and said, no, thank you. Finally, we've got the the Medicaid expansion going on here in the state, which has really put us in a bad situation. And that Medicaid expansion here in the state has reached 500,000. 500,000 people are now on Medicaid that were never on Medicaid before. And this is so far outpaced what they were predicting that now we're going to have to go back to the drawing board to figure out how we're going to pay for those extra folks on Medicaid. So really what this has opened up is not insurance for everyone. It's Medicaid for folks that weren't going to buy insurance anyway.
Hey, Sharon, what's the population of Nevada?
Taxpayers. Pardon me?
What's the population of Nevada?
2.5 million.
Wait a minute. Okay, so the population is 2.5 million, yet there are 500,000 on Medicaid?
Right.
So that's
right.
20, if my math does me correctly, which it does me incorrectly sometimes, that's 1/5 of the population of the state of Nevada is on a social welfare program called Medicaid.
That's right.
Oh, Sharon.
That's right.
That's unbelievable.
That's right. Well, it's not unbelievable.
Hey, Sharon, hold that thought for a second because we'll pick this up right after our break, okay?
All right.
And you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Angle and Rick Trader, yours truly. We're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, that of WNJC 1360 in Philadelphia, our flagship station, and around the world on the Internet via our new Internet broadcast partners, CPRWorldwideMedia.com, PatriotsRide.org, and VigilantLibertyRadio.us. Please don't go away. Sharon and I will be right back to kick Obamacare around some more. This is so much fun.
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's A-B-A-C-O. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811, PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
Hi, this is Bob Vide, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Biden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show with Sharon Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. Sharon's out in Nevada, and I'm coming to you from the CCRS studios, that of WNJC 1360, and around the world on the Internet. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 10:10 this evening, please go to www.patriotsride.org. That's patriotsride.org at 10:10 this evening for a rebroadcast of today's show. And at 5 p.m., right when we go off the air, please switch over to cprworldwidemedia.com. That's cprworldwidemedia.com for a rebroadcast of yesterday's show. And tomorrow afternoon, you can hear a rebroadcast of today's show at vigilantlibertyradio.us. So, Sharon, right before we went to the break, I asked you the population of Nevada. You said it was 2.5 million people, because earlier you mentioned that 500,000 of the residents of Nevada were on a charity program called Medicaid. And Sharon, that's 20% of the entire population of the state of Nevada is on Medicaid.
That's right. And it could be as much as 25% because we have been losing population ever since President Obama became president. Remember, he said that if you were going to Las Vegas, you were going on a junket. Mm-hmm. And they canceled a number of conferences and conventions in Las Vegas because of that. And it really tanked our economy, and we have never really recovered from that. We are still among the highest, if not the highest, state in unemployment. And, of course, we know that Obamacare is the biggest job killer in the nation. So we're even being hit harder because of Obamacare. Those who would provide jobs can't because of Obamacare. And so that's what's going on in this state. We're not sure that our population is even at that same point that it was when they took the census in 2010, just because people are going to places where they can get a job, like Texas and North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. There are jobs to be had in this nation, but they're not here in Nevada. And so when we talk about this law going into effect, and we had 642,000 uninsured in Nevada, now we have 500,000 of those on Medicaid expansion. They were hoping to get 118,000 signed up by March 31st. They only have 22,000 that have signed up.
Well, Sharon, isn't the Nevada exchange extremely popular out there?
Well, no, it's not extremely popular anymore. As I said, we had Xerox setting up the exchange, which basically is a website that is a dummy terminal for healthcare.gov. So we pay twice. We pay for the healthcare.gov, we pay for the collection within the state, but it all goes to the same place. And we paid Xerox or Deloitte and Touche, Xerox, $75 million to set up that website. Well, and it collapsed on us, and now we're putting $1.5 million more into it. These exchanges, that's why I have a constitutional amendment being circulated right now to get rid of our state exchange and say that we'll never set up something that's governmentally run healthcare insurance in this state at any level.
Well, Sharon, when I said, isn't it popular out there, I was saying that tongue-in-cheek, remembering our conversation that we had when you co-hosted with me on Tuesday about the health fair out in Nevada, and that not a single person, not one single person, showed up at a health fair to sign up for Obamacare.
That's right. That's right. People really do get it. You know, we talk about the uninformed electorate, but somehow this information has gotten out to even those that we consider in that 47%, which are entitled. They're not even showing up to sign up for this. And this is happening in 14 states. These state exchanges are set up: Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, Mississippi, Kentucky, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maryland, and then Washington, D.C., not a state, but they have an exchange. And the problem is these 14 state exchanges are actually draining double. And that's why I'm saying to anybody that lives in one of those states, you've got to get it on your ballot. You've got to get it out of your state.
You know, as you're reading that rundown of the states, Sharon, I'm kind of doing this coloring in of a map, and it seems like all those states you mentioned are blue states and have Democrat governors except for one. Question of the day to you, Sharon Engel, is which one of those states that have an Obamacare exchange has a Republican as governor?
Nevada.
Bingo.
It's a sad state of affairs, really. So we are embarrassed. We truly are embarrassed.
Well, you know, the people of Nevada shouldn't be embarrassed. Your governor should be embarrassed.
Well, he was lied to just like the rest of us were lied to, but he took the bait. I guess that's all I can say is sometimes you're more gullible than other folks. You know, the red states, they said thanks but no thanks is a federal deal. Many of those Republican states that refused the exchange, though, have taken the expansion because they're separated. The Supreme Court separated those two things and said that you could be an Medicaid expansion state without being on the exchange. So there is a bit of a muddle that's going on there.
Yeah, you see, there are some...
Arizona is one of those that's done that.
New Jersey, the stupid governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, took that money, but there's a catch to that money, Sharon. It only lasts for 3 years.
Absolutely.
After 3 years...
2016, it's all gone, and now we're paying again. And that was one of the things that I said. We're now up to 500,000, which you pointed out is 20%, maybe as high as 25% of the state are now on Medicaid expansion here in Nevada.
Well, after 3 years, that federal money stops coming in for this Medicaid expansion, and then the states are left paying the entire bill. Entire bill. And you know what, Sharon, let's call it as it is. Nobody in this country was ever denied medical care. Before Obamacare, no one was ever denied medical care. Anybody at any time could walk into any hospital for any reason and get treatment. I was in a hospital emergency room one time, Sharon, with my mother. My mother was having a heart problem. So I was waiting in the emergency room while she was being examined by the doctors, and a 16-year-old girl came in with her mother who couldn't speak English. Neither one of them had any money. Neither one of them had any insurance. The 16-year-old girl was there because she had laryngitis. She had no money, no insurance, and she was not denied care in a hospital emergency room because she had laryngitis. I wanted to take her down to a CVS and buy her some throat lozenges. Would have saved the government a lot of money. Would have saved the hospital a lot of money. By the way, Sharon, that hospital ultimately went bankrupt because of situations like that. Hey, Sharon, we're up against a break. You are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show, coming to you live from the CCRS studios, that of WNJC 1360, and around the world on the internet. On our internet broadcast partners, CPR Worldwide Media, Patriots Ride, and Vigilant Liberty Radio.us. Please don't go away. Just on the other side, Sharon and I are going to be talking with our first guest, Dr. Elizabeth Vallette. Obamacare, to enroll or not to enroll? That is the question. Be right back.
They say I'm nasty, but
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811, PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's ABACO. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the Sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
Hello, I'm Reverend Carl Kelly, and I head up the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Indiana. President Obama's attacks on the Constitution continues to be aided and abetted by one of his trusted allies in Congress, ultra-liberal Democrat Andre Carson of Indianapolis, nationally known for his infamous racial rants against the Tea Party. I want to tell you about J.D. Manier. J.D. will be a representative for the people of the 7th District. J.D. Manier is a pro-growth Reagan conservative and is co-host of the Conservative Commandos Radio show. He is asking you to join his army of supporters in order to defeat Carson and go to Washington to demand special prosecutors for Benghazi, the IRS, and other scandals. JD is interested in what's good for the people of the 7th District, not Nancy Pelosi. He will promote strong economic growth and jobs by getting the government off the backs of the people, voting for tax cuts and slashing regulations. Help elect a pro-life defender of freedom who will strongly support Israel, vote to cut wasteful spending, and battle to repeal Obama's socialist agenda. Log on to ManierForCongress.com and donate today. That's MINIEAR for Congress.com. Paid for and authorized by the J.D. Manier for Congress Committee.
I'm J.D. Manier, candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives, Indiana District 7, and I approve of this message.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, fellow patriots. Welcome back once again to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 10:10 this evening, please tune to patriotsride.org. That's patriotsride.org. And 5 p.m. right when we go off the air, switch on over to cprworldwidemedia.com for a rebroadcast of yesterday's show. And if you'd like to hear another rebroadcast of today's show tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m., go to vigilantlibertyradio.us. But Sharon Angle, we do have our first guest of the day with us, and the honor of that introduction is yours, Sharon.
It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Elizabeth Fleet. She is the 2007 recipient of the Voice of Women Award from the Arizona Foundation for Women for her pioneering advocacy for the overlooked hormone connections in women's health. Dr. Fleet has appeared on Fox News, Cavuto, Stuart Varney Show, Fox and Friends, and syndicated radio shows across the country addressing the economic and medical impact of the new health care bill. Dr. Elizabeth Fleet, welcome to Conservative Commandos Radio Show.
Thank you so much, Sharon. It was such a pleasure to meet you in person at the Constitution Day in Green Valley, Arizona. So I'm privileged to be part of your show today.
And it's my privilege as well. It's great to hear your voice again, Elizabeth. You wrote an article, Obamacare, to enroll or not to enroll, that's the question. And in it, you talk about the punishment that 85% of the population is going to go through for 15% who didn't have coverage. Now, talk of 85% that's going to get punished. What is the punishment? When is it going to come? And let's just talk right there on that level for a moment.
Well, certainly the 85% of the public in this country who had health insurance that they liked, that served their needs, that was affordable for their budget, are finding that most of the plans are being canceled in order to meet the new expanded and more costly mandates of the Obamacare law. And many people are finding that their premiums are doubling or tripling. They are finding that their deductibles are escalating. People who had a $2,000 deductible before Obamacare may be facing a $5,000 or $10,000 deductible before the health insurance kicks in. And the new plans cost more when they do provide, when you have met your deductible. So more and more people are actually being priced out of the market by the expanded regulations and requirements under Obamacare, which is absolutely appalling that they have done so much damage under the guise of helping people who didn't have insurance. We're going to end up with more people uninsured under Obamacare than we had uninsured before they passed the law.
And there's a deadline that you have to either be signed up by or something happens to you. So talk about the deadline a little bit, because it's coming up right away.
Well, the deadline to enroll is March 31st, or people will be faced with what the Supreme Court called a tax and what the Democrats have called a penalty. Now, most people are doing the math and finding out that in the first few years, the individual mandate penalty, if you do not sign up, that the dollar amount of that penalty is actually minuscule compared to the cost of the health insurance plans that are required to be offered under the Obamacare law. So many people are making the decision that it costs them less to pay the penalty or the tax and wait and see if they need coverage, and then because of the guaranteed issue aspects and the fact that insurance companies cannot exclude someone who's had an illness or an injury, then people may sign up at that time, which ends up making it more costly for everyone because you have people that are staying out of the system until they have a problem and then signing up. The whole premise for the Obamacare individual mandate was to get younger, healthier people to sign up, pay higher premiums, and support the premium cost for people who have a lot of medical problems or people who are older and for whom insurance is more expensive. So it was a redistribution of wealth scheme to begin with, and now the younger, healthier people are saying, I'm not going to fall for that. This is costing me too much money, and I'm healthy and I don't need it, so I'm not going to sign up. I'll just pay the penalty.
Well, Dr. Elizabeth Vliet, your article just makes my heart sing, because in your article you give us 10 good reasons not to sign up, and then you give us some ways to go ahead and protect ourselves if we don't sign up. So some alternatives, if you will, some solutions. So name the 10 good reasons why we shouldn't even consider signing up for Obamacare.
Well, number one is the Obamacare health insurance policies cost significantly more, as I just mentioned. Number two, the Obamacare health insurance policies limit your choice of doctors, which is terrible for people that have cancer and heart disease and diabetes and many serious illnesses, to be able to no longer really be able to choose their doctors or stay with doctors that know them is really very unsound medically, and certainly not in the patient's best interest. Number three, the Obamacare health insurance policies limit your choice of hospitals. Some of the state-of-the-art cancer centers in the United States are excluded from these policies. Number four, your out-of-pocket costs are going to skyrocket, and you've got to pay higher deductibles before you even get the insurance. Number five, your medical privacy is lost when you enroll, and your medical information, instead of being under your control and your doctor's control, is now being controlled by government agencies, which many people don't like. And number six, your personal, financial, and health information may be seriously compromised by the security flaws in the healthcare.gov website. Everybody's been hearing about that, and now they want people to put their personal, financial, and health information on this site. And the other aspect of security is reason 7, you're at risk of identity theft by providing your personal information to the Obamacare navigators. There have been significant numbers of the navigators who have been found to have criminal backgrounds, some including a criminal background for identity theft and fraud, and yet they're in the position of being called an Obamacare navigator with very little training and no background checks, and have access to people's personal Social Security number and other financial and identifying information. So I think that's a real danger to people. Number 8, the reason that I gave, was that enrolling in the Obamacare Health Exchange may lead to compromises of your Second Amendment rights as the medical databases start to track gun ownership. And they're even having doctors ask children, sending the parents out of the room, asking children to rat on their parents, do you have any guns in the home? And we fundamentally know, Sharon, that both gun control and healthcare control are at their core people control.
Well, we're going
Number
to stop
9,
right there.
the reason that I thought was important is that, sorry?
Doctor, let's stop
Yes?
right there. We'll leave people hanging for number 9 and 10. If you can come back after the break.
Absolutely.
We're talking with Dr. Elizabeth Vliet from Arizona. She's talking about 10 good reasons why you shouldn't sign up for Obamacare. But more importantly, when we get back from our break, we're going to cover those last 2, and then we're going to talk about 5 suggestions for what you can do instead. You're listening to Conservative Commandos radio show here at 1360 on your radio dial from downtown Philadelphia and across the internet to the rest of the nation. We'll be right back with Sharon Engel, Rick Trader, and Dr. Elizabeth Fleet right after this message.
I really don't care. That's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but I...
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's A-B-A-C-O. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the sea of Abaco, I'm smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day. Stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Once again, just a quick reminder, if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 10:10 this evening, please go to patriotsride.org. That's patriotsride.org. And at 5 p.m. when we go off the air, switch over to cprworldwidemedia.com for a rebroadcast of yesterday's show. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m., the place is vigilantlibertyradio.us. So, Sharon, I wanted to get right back to you so you could continue the conversation with Dr. Vliet.
Yes, we are talking with Dr. Elizabeth Fleet. She's from Arizona. I wanted to before we continue on with those 10 good reasons not to enroll in Obamacare and also the 5 things that we can do as alternatives, I wanted to ask you just a question about a state, Arizona is one, that doesn't have the exchange, but does have the Medicaid expansion, and you have a Republican government. How do you reconcile all of that in your state?
Well, actually, Sharon, it has been a huge outcry among conservatives, independents, and Republicans about the way in which our governor was influenced by the hospital lobby and other special interest groups to ram through the Medicaid expansion in violation of the actual procedural rules in our legislature. And many legislators are very angry about it. Many consumers are very angry about it. And in fact, I think it will probably cost a number of people their seats in the upcoming elections, because it was the same type of shenanigan to push this through and ram it down everyone's throat that Republicans and conservatives and our governor has complained about the way the Democrats rammed the health care law through in the first place.
It just seems like a way to straddle the fence, doesn't it? Where you don't have the exchange, but you do the Medicaid expansion. It's trying to have your cake and eat it too, perhaps.
Well, you're right, and the taxpayers are the ones who are killed under that, with the fact that the taxes are going to have to go up in order to pay for the healthcare cost of more and more people under the expansion, and it doesn't serve the patients because you can't expand the number of people using the services so dramatically and not increase the number of doctors and expect people to still have the same quality of care. So the patients suffer, the taxpayers suffer, and the rule of law suffered greatly under what this governor did.
Well, we were talking before we went on the break about the 10 good reasons not to sign up for Obamacare, and you mentioned this is touching almost every part of our lives. We wouldn't think about how it touches our gun rights, but you mentioned that was number 8. What's number 9 and 10?
Well, number 9, I thought, was the fact that many people who are signing up on the exchange are finding it difficult or impossible to cancel their plan if they find a better, lower-cost option in the private market. So they're trapped, essentially. And the 10th reason, and there are many other reasons, these were just my top 10, but the Obamacare policies are basically managed care with limitations on your options and financial incentives for the doctors to restrict the care. And people don't understand that the doctors, the hospitals, all of these different people who contract with these plans actually have built-in incentives if they order fewer tests, if they do fewer procedures and surgeries. So patients don't realize that their treatment options are being restricted because no one's telling them about this. And as a physician, I find that especially abhorrent because our loyalty and our advocacy is supposed to be to the individual patient, not to the government and not to the insurance plans. And people's lives are at stake when physicians do not hold true to the oath of Hippocrates to focus on what is in the best interest of the individual patient. So, you ask me what can people do if they don't enroll in Obamacare. Would you like for me to talk about some options?
Yes, that's where I was going. What are the alternatives?
Great minds run in the same channel, right?
Yes.
The first thing that I encourage my patients to do is purchase a very high deductible catastrophic medical insurance policy for major illnesses and hospitalizations, because that's what can be financially devastating. If you can buy a policy like that for a few $100s a month, it's a lot better to put the money that you save on the high-cost premiums into a savings account and start building up your own medical expense savings account that you control, even if that account is not tax deductible. The very fact that you control it and you're putting your premium savings into that account gives you the freedom, the medical freedom, and the privacy to choose the doctors, the hospitals, the care that you need, and it gives you the option to go out of the country if it's lower cost. So I think people need to get out of the mindset of thinking that the health insurance policy needs to pay for everything from the first dollar, and they need to look at the lower cost policies that take care of serious risk. It's similar to the way we buy car insurance. You buy a car insurance policy to cover you for an accident. You don't buy the car insurance policy to pay for every tire change and oil change and gasoline fill-up. You take care of that yourself. So if you do the same thing with the health insurance marketplace, you can definitely save some money. And then use those savings, as I said, to put into your own self-funded medical expense savings account. The other thing people can do that they may not realize is out there are a number of religious cost-sharing programs that you join that group and pay a very low monthly fee to be a member of the group, and then if you have health problems and medical cost, the group shares in paying the expenses. Examples of these, many of them have been around for 20, 30 years. Christian Healthcare Ministries, for example, Liberty Health Share, Samaritan Ministries, and Christian Care MediShare. A lot of these options are ones that may work for a lot of people and may suit their religious beliefs as well as help their pocketbook and help them get more flexible choices and options for their medical care. The other thing, people don't realize that they can pay out of pocket. Cash pay medical practices, imaging centers, and even hospitals that offer discounts for cash are much lower cost than many of the places that file your insurance. Because if you're filing insurance, you have to have a whole billing staff taking care of that. A cash pay practice doesn't have all those extra employees, and so their prices can be lower for better quality care and more time-intensive focus on the individual patients. Surgery Center Oklahoma is a great example of that. People can look online at the surgery procedures they need. The prices are all posted. You pay cash. You don't have the insurance hassles, and you can have a consult with them beforehand to see if you're a candidate for the surgery. It's an outstanding program, and more are being set up like that. The other thing people can do, the fifth one on my list, is purchase a high-deductible international health insurance policy that for much lower premiums offers you the option of medical services in lower-cost countries like Chile, for example, where we're developing a medical consulting program to be a resource for people who are looking for lower-cost, high-quality, patient-centered care in Santiago, Chile, where they have world-class facilities that rival the best of our U.S. facilities, and where you don't have the government and the insurance dictators telling you what you can have and what you can't have. You and your doctors make those decisions, and your medical privacy is not compromised either. Other places that people go are Panama, Mexico, Costa Rica, Singapore, Thailand, India, and other countries that are known for having lower-cost, high-quality services. So I think there are lots of things people can do to put the control back in their own hands. Ultimately, everyone needs to take more responsibility for their own health and keep their medical freedom to choose doctors and hospitals as partners to work with them. And I'd like to end with what our first Republican president said. Abraham Lincoln said, "You cannot make a weak man strong by making a strong man weak." And that is what Obamacare does. It weakens those who take responsibility for their health, forcing them into a one-size-fits-all wealth redistribution scheme that restricts care to government-approved choices, freedom and privacy, and patient-centered care. And that's what I took an oath as a physician to do. And so I describe my work as being a medical freedom fighter to help patients put the control back in their hands.
Dr. Vliet, we got to go in just a minute. You know, I've been sitting here listening to the conversation between you and Sharon. You seriously ought to write a book. I'm serious. Of all the experts
on health issues, now I probably need to do one on take back your
Exactly. Exactly. It's exactly when, because of all the guests and of all the speakers we've had on here on the Conservative Commandos radio show talking about Obamacare over the last 3 years, you really pinpoint a lot of the problems and some great solutions. But Dr. Vliet, we have to go. Please give our audience a website where they can go to follow you.
Okay, www.herplace.com. www.internationalhealthstrategiesltd.com and www.aapsonline.org. We have lots of information on medical issues, your health issues, and all of these medical freedom issues on those websites.
Dr. Elizabeth Vliet, thank you so much for joining us. Please keep me posted about other writings. We're going to have you back.
I will do it, and keep up your great work, both you and Sharon and the whole Commandos Radio team. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. God bless. All right, we're going to take a break. Don't go away. Sharon and I will be right back.
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at CS4automation.com.
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's ABACO. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the Sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
Hello, I'm Reverend Carl Kelly, and I head up the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Indiana. President Obama's attacks on the Constitution continues to be aided and abetted by one of his trusted allies in Congress, ultra-liberal Democrat Andre Carson of Indianapolis, nationally known for his infamous racial rants against the Tea Party. I want to tell you about J.D. Manier. J.D. will be a representative for the people of the 7th District. J.D. Manier is a pro-growth Reagan conservative and is co-host of the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. He is asking you to join his army of supporters in order to defeat Carson and go to Washington to demand special prosecutors for Benghazi, the IRS, and other scandals. JD is interested in what's good for the people of the 7th District, not Nancy Pelosi. He will promote strong economic growth and jobs by getting the government off the backs of the people, voting for tax cuts and slashing regulations. Help elect a pro-life defender of freedom who will strongly support Israel, vote to cut wasteful spending, and battle to repeal Obama's socialist agenda. Log on to ManierForCongress.com and donate today. That's MINIEAR for Congress.com. Paid for and authorized by the J.D. Manier for Congress Committee.
I'm J.D. Manier, candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives, Indiana District 7, and I approve of this message.
You can call the Conservative Commandos Radio Show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 10:10 this evening, that's 10:10 Eastern Time, please go to patriotsride.org. That's patriotsride.org. And at 5 p.m. Eastern, when we go off the air, switch on over to cprworldwidemedia.com for a rebroadcast of yesterday's show. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m., go to vigilantlibерtyradio.us. But we do have our next guest with us, and that is Ken Shepard. And after 8 years with the Media Research Center as a news analyst, Business and Media Institute staff writer and contributor, Ken is now the managing editor for newsbusters.org. Ken, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
All right, thanks for having me.
Great to have you with us, Ken. And, you know, Ken, I've been thinking about something here today, and Sharon England and myself were talking about it a little earlier. We don't have a president. We have a cool guy in the White House, a cool guy who everybody likes, who goes on places like CBS and ABC and ESPN, and their anchors fawn over his NCAA picks, his bracketology picks. Explain this to us.
Yeah, well, this seems to be an annual thing, but you know, last year around this time, we didn't have Russia taking by force a part of another sovereign nation. We didn't have some of the things that we know about Obamacare are still going on. So we didn't have all these sort of things. But every year in March they do this. But this year in particular, it being a midterm election year, and if this were a Republican president or a conservative president, you can bet the media would be slamming the president for focusing on frivolities like picking basketball picks when an ally in a sovereign nation has seen territory ripped from them by an aggressive dictator in Vladimir Putin who doesn't respect our president.
Certainly not. And, you know, Ken, I thought Rush Limbaugh said it best when he said, Putin redraws Russian borders, Obama makes bracket picks. Doesn't that say it all, Ken?
That does. That totally does say it all. And, again, it's, I can't necessarily say, okay, fine, you take a few minutes to fill out your brackets, it's a fun thing. Okay, that's fine, but there seems to me no indication that the president is taking this seriously. There, just slap on the wrist sanctions. There seems to be no, that the Obama administration didn't see this coming. And so there's a lot of things that the media should be holding the president to account for on this, and our lowered standing in the world under this president. And the media just don't seem to care because they focus on the cool factor. And he's been in office for 6 years. His ratings are in the tank. Historic lows according to Gallup. You see that Obamacare is a disaster that nobody likes. And again, if this was stuff that were happening under President Bush's watch, the media would keep pounding that drum. And that's what the media did with President Bush. They kept pounding that drum to basically make folks, sick of the president, sick of the Republican majority in Congress. And you saw what happened in 2006. The media helped Democrats to take back the House in 2006 by helping to hype this climate of, we want change, we want change, we want change. Now, 8 years later, 2014, we don't see that sort of thing in the media, although we see there's groundwork for Republicans could take the Senate because Obamacare is that bad. And so the media would rather focus on frivolities because they're trying to distract from the real issues.
You're right, Ken. In fact, a guy by the name of Josh Elliott on Good Morning America joked that, and finally, the bracketologist-in-chief is at it again. Barack Obama, as he does every March, is making his predictions. Then Elliott played a clip of Obama insisting, and, this, I guess he could make a joke about these things. We're suffering, but he can make jokes about it, that he would use his big bracket winnings to, quote, pay down the debt and to buy his wife shoes. Now, gee, I didn't know his wife was Imelda Marcos, but I guess they're kindred souls or something. What do you say, Ken?
Well, and maybe if they, when they go on yet another vacation this year, maybe they can fly on the same plane.
Oh, Ken, you forgot one thing. You talk about vacations. She's heading to China. Did you know that?
That's right.
She's heading to China with her mother-in-law and her kids Barry's staying back at the White House with his good buddy Reggie Love, and I guess they're going to play pickup basketball games and fantasize about being in the Final Four. So Michelle won't be around to get all those new shoes. But Ken, I think there was somebody who actually made some sense. And this goes back to 2009. And again, I'm going by the release that the Media Research Center put out. You guys do great work, by the way.
Well, thank you.
That in 2009, Duke coach, Coach K, Mike K, I can't pronounce his last name, but Coach K said, quote, somebody said that we're not in Obama's Final Four, meaning Duke, and as much as I respect what he's doing, really the economy is something that he should be focusing on, probably more than the brackets. Ken, that makes a lot of sense to me.
I'm a huge Maryland fan, so I don't care much for Coach K. But that's one time I actually agree with him on something.
as you rightly should, I should say. Well, let's talk about the cool guy, the Barackatologist. How accurate has he been since he's been making these picks?
I can't say that I know that off the top of my head. I don't think he's been all that fantastic, and I think it's March Madness. Anything can happen. I fill out a bracket or two. I have no clue what's going on, and I don't pretend to. I just do it for the fun of it, and so I think that's what most people do. So I don't know how well he's done, but I basketball picks. We pay him to lead, and the world looks to the President of the United States, whoever it is, to lead. And if he's not leading, and the media isn't calling him out on it, it's not just Americans who are failed by the media. It's the rest of the world.
Hey, Ken, are you a basketball fan? I know you said you were, from Maryland.
I haven't. I honestly haven't followed it as much as I would like to. Ever since Coach Williams retired. Kind of big Maryland basketball fan, but we just haven't been doing that great of late, so we haven't been in the big dance.
Right. Well, this guy, Barack Obama, he's the cool guy, the Barackatologist and the weekend Tiger Woods. Maybe he should run a fantasy basketball golf camp or something. But, I'll be honest with you, Ken, I've figured out the perfect job for this guy. Recently, the commissioner of the NBA retired. I think he would have made a perfect replacement. Not only that, the commissioner of the NBA, Stern, was making upwards of $20 to $23 million a year. That would have kept old Michelle in shoes, don't you think?
Maybe so.
Hey, Ken, we're going to take a break. Could you stay through a short break for us?
Sure thing.
All right. And you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Engel and Rick Trader. We're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, that of WNJC 1360, and of course around the world on the internet. Check out our internet broadcast partners, CPRWorldwideMedia.com, PatriotsRide.org, and VigilantLibertyRadio.us. Please don't go away. We're speaking with Ken Shepard with the Media Research Center, talking about Barackatology. Talking about Barack Obama playing games while Putin is taking back the rest of Europe that the Soviet Union let get away. Don't go away. Be right back.
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's ABACO. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back, fellow patriots. Welcome back once again to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show with Sharon Engel and Rick Trader. And once again, if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 10:10 this evening, switch on over to patriotsride.org, and at 5 o'clock, to hear a rebroadcast of our show from yesterday, switch on over to cprworldwidemedia.com. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast tomorrow afternoon of today's show, please go to vigilantlibertyradio.us. And we're speaking with Ken Shepard, who's with the Media Research Center. Ken is the managing editor for newsbusters.org. Ken, thanks for holding through that break.
Hey, no problem.
Ken, on the other line, I do have my co-host, Sharon Engel, and Sharon wanted to get into this conversation. I don't know about how much knowledge Sharon has about basketball, but she sure does know a lot of other things about politics. Sharon Engel?
Well, thanks a lot, and thanks for being on the show, Ken. I really am very interested in your Media Research Institute, and I've kind of Googled some of the other things that you've written articles on just in the recent past. One of them you did about the Washington Post defending Obamacare's constitutionality, and another one that was striking to me was MSNBC's Chris Matthews, the guy with the thrill up his leg, insists he tries to examine American politics objectively. Could you just comment on both of those articles a little bit for me? Because I think, kind of going with the theme that we've got for the day on Obamacare, the Obamacare one, especially the constitutionality, everybody looks at that and they say, absolutely, this is unconstitutional. So how can we defend something like that?
Okay, well, on the second one, real quick, Chris Matthews, he's a treasure trove for us, and sometimes it's low-hanging fruit, but you got to remember this guy puts himself out as kind of Mr. Hardball, like I'm a veteran political operator, I know BS and can call BS, and he, that was his whole shtick, and maybe about 10 years ago, he was fairly good with that and kind of good hardball questions on both sides, but ever since Barack Obama came along, he's been just throw up his leg, total, I'm going to defend this guy to the hilt. It's my job to defend this guy. Every now and then he'll slip into a moment of lucidity and a moment of stepping aside from the party line, but most times he's right in lockstep with President Obama. So he always provides us a lot of content. As for the Post, I think it's kind of interesting that, yes, Obamacare has been ruled constitutional by the Supreme Court by the barest of majorities, 5-4. But when the Supreme Court issues rulings that conservatives like, we'll often hear, well, that was a 5-4 ruling. It was the conservatives and John Roberts. It's a closely divided court. It was bitterly, contested by the liberal wing, and the 5-4 decision tells you that there's not a lot of consensus on this. And they'll say those sort of things about, the gun rights ruling, or about the so-called super PAC ruling that permitted super PACs, and which is just a free speech issue. So when the left loves a Supreme Court ruling, even if it's a 5-4, they'll spin it as it's settled law. We just let it go and just don't worry about the constitutionality of it. And as we know, there's just no way it's truly constitutional. I mean, we can disagree with the Supreme Court all we want, but I think the media definitely, when they agree with the Supreme Court ruling, they'll do everything they can to congratulate the court and to say that it made the right call. But when it goes the other way, they'll savage the court and they'll say it's politicized or whatever. So it's definitely double standard.
Well, I think that's what boggles the mind of most Americans, is that it is such a double standard, and that that isn't our thing, to do constitutionality. That's supposed to be the Supreme Court's business. But when we can just cursory read our Constitution and understand that this thing is way beyond the boundaries of constitutionality, it's hard for us to understand now what we can do about that. And you at Media Research Institute, you're kind of a watchdog, but do you ever come up with the solution, something that we the people can do where we can at least follow you, but maybe even get beyond that? What can we do maybe with our purchasing dollars, something like that?
Well, I'm not much of an expert on the economic, leverage. Aside from saying, I encourage people always to use multiple media sources, to be, as Reagan used to say, trust but verify. There is a lot of good reporting, even in certain liberal publications. Not everything is biased, but you do have to take things with a grain of salt. You have to ask how are they pitching this, or how are they twisting this? And there's just a lot of things in the media that the media think in a pack mentality. So it helps to check media that are outside of the New York, D.C., L.A. bubble, because those people in those media circles tend to be very socially liberal and fiscally liberal, and they tend to look down on folks in the rest of the country, and especially social conservatives. So I think that it's just something about finding multiple sources, and I always encourage people to, when it comes to Supreme Court rulings, there is quite a bit of legalese in some of those rulings, but a lot of it is fairly easy to comprehend if you just take some time to read the arguments. And so what happens when the media covers a Supreme Court case is they'll spin it, they'll selectively quote it, but if you actually go and read the opinions, then you can kind of see where the justices are thinking, and even if you disagree with it, you can kind of appreciate, for the most part, how they're coming to that conclusion. And the media don't really encourage you to do that with Supreme Court rulings, and I think that's a shame. I think if more people read some of these Supreme Court rulings, that the media like to trash, that conservatives have won out on, if you read those rulings and you read the legal reasoning, it makes a lot of sense. And again, some of these justices are kind of hit or miss, like Anthony Kennedy, huge hit or miss. He was dead on with the unconstitutionality of Obamacare, but unfortunately he was in the minority, and Justice Roberts didn't see it that way. But he's been bad on some other issues. So it's just like with everything in the Supreme Court, politics, and the media. Just check multiple sources, trust but verify. Ask the tough questions and be a critical thinker and a critical reader. And I think that will help most Americans to get beyond the noise. But and then it's just sharing with your friends and coworkers and family, and just everyday conversation. Do you see how the media is twisting things?
Ken, let's get back to this serious stuff. Let's get off this Obamacare. Let's get off of this Crimea and all this and Putin, and let's talk about the really, really important things again, Ken. The NCAA brackets I'm talking about. Warren Buffett's put up $1 billion for somebody to accurately pick the brackets. Do we know if Barack Obama has filled one out?
Yeah, he has. I believe he did that the other day on ESPN, and I think that was like a live show. And so again, you have this fawning media.
No, so again, we have a hope. We do have a hope. I don't know what that we do have a hope that he will win that $1 billion, and decided he don't need to screw our lives up anymore and go off into the sunset to either Hawaii or Indonesia or wherever he wants to go, and leave us the rest of us alone if he wins, right, Ken? Can we?
Oh, that's a lot of money to tempt folks in Congress with for spending it elsewhere. So I would.
How about if we tax him at 99%, Ken? If he wins, let's write a new tax, the Barack Obama Barakatology tax, and take that money from him.
Don't give him ideas, as one who likes to do the occasional basketball pool.
All right,
you're going to give some ideas to the wrong people there.
Well, Ken Shepard from the Media Research Center, we want to thank you for joining us on the Conservative Commandos radio show. It's been fun. Hey, Ken, give out a website where our listeners can follow the work at the Media Research Center.
Yeah, so I edit newsbusters.org. That's newsbusters.org. And also be sure to check cnsnews.com is our sister site that does original investigative reporting, stories that the media won't tell you, investigative reports that the rest of the folks in the media don't want to get into.
Well, Ken, I always tell our listeners that cnsnews.com is our source for news. Should be theirs, too. Good advice?
That's great advice.
Ken Shepard, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, thank you. It's been
all right. Take care. God bless. And you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. Sharon Engel, what do you know about basketball?
Well, probably not enough according to my son and my husband.
Why, are they picking on you or something?
Bracketology business, that's for sure.
All right. Well, we don't need a president. We don't need somebody to worry about Putin or health care or the Crimean or Fast and Furious or Benghazi. We don't need anybody to worry about that. We need somebody to worry about who's going to win the NCAA basketball tournament.
Well, sounds like Las Vegas to me. You get on it, you could win big.
There you go. Hey, let's do a promo for Las Vegas now, since Obama's hurt business so much, since he told people not to go there. Hey, Sharon, when he made that comment, what's the mood of the people in Nevada? I mean, tourism, Las Vegas, gambling, that's Nevada's industry, isn't it? Their number one industry, isn't it?
It certainly is, and that was one of the big things that we hit Harry Reid on in 2010, is that he supported a president who didn't support our state. And yet you saw the results of the election. People have a difficult time connecting the dots between this guy and what he does. As you pointed out, he's the good guy. He's the guy that's just like everybody else. He likes to be out there with the real people. And yet they don't seem to be able to connect him with Obamacare and Benghazi and Fast and Furious, IRS scandals. Those two things do not connect. And when you try to connect them, they say it isn't his fault.
It isn't his fault.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, Sharon. Maybe we really should have. Maybe in order to have the right to vote or the privilege to vote, maybe people should have to take tests. I know what people are going to say about me saying that, but when we got this stupid and ignorant voting for people who are popular and have a nice smile, that I don't know, Sharon. I think we need voter tests. But with that, let's go to our break. You are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Engel and Rick Trader. We're coming to you from the CCRS studios, that of WNJC 1360, and of course around the world on the internet, thanks to our internet broadcast partners, CPRWorldwideMedia.com, PatriotsRide.org, and VigilantLibertyRadio.us. Please don't go away, because on the other side, we're going to be speaking with Aileen Singer, from the Heritage Foundation. Be right back.
I really don't care. That's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but I...
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811, PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather? You need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's ABACO. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the Sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
Hello, I'm Reverend Carl Kelly, and I head up the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Indiana. President Obama's attacks on the Constitution continues to be aided and abetted by one of his trusted allies in Congress, ultra-liberal Democrat Andre Carson of Indianapolis, nationally known for his infamous racial rants against the Tea Party. I want to tell you about J.D. Manier. J.D. will be a representative for the people of the 7th District. J.D. Manier is a pro-growth Reagan conservative and is co-host of the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. He is asking you to join his army of supporters in order to defeat Carson and go to Washington to demand special prosecutors for Benghazi, the IRS, and other scandals. J.D. is interested in what's good for the people of the 7th District, not Nancy Pelosi. He will promote strong economic growth and jobs by getting the government off the backs of the people, voting for tax cuts and slashing regulations. Help elect a pro-life defender of freedom who will strongly support Israel, vote to cut wasteful spending, and battle to repeal Obama's socialist agenda. Log on to ManierForCongress.com and donate today. That's MINIEAR for Congress.com. Paid for and authorized by the J.D. Manier for Congress Committee.
I'm J.D. Manier, candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives, Indiana District 7, and I approve of this message.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
This is Sharon Engel and Rick Trader here on Conservative Commandos Radio Show, 1360 on your radio dial in downtown Philadelphia. I'll give a shout-out to my granddaughter, Tia, who's listening today, and those others that are listening out there on the web across the nation. We have our next guest with us. Her name is Eileen Singer, and she focuses her research and writing at the Heritage Foundation on intricacies of healthcare policy. As research associate, she examines the provisions and effects of Obamacare, the need to reform Medicare, and what conservative solutions to health policy challenges look like. Eileen's commentary and analysis have appeared in and been cited by print and online outlets such as the Washington Times, the Washington Examiner, National Review Online, and Real Clear Politics, among others. She regularly weighs in on health policy matters at the Heritage Policies blog, The Foundry. She has talked about the implementation of Obamacare in many radio and television appearances, including Fox News Channel. Allie, welcome to Conservative Commandos Radio Show.
Thank you for having me.
Allie, it's our pleasure, and it's especially my pleasure to have you talking about something that's right here in my home state. This man who signed up for Obamacare and now owes $407,000 in medical bills. How does that happen? Can you tell us, Ellie?
Yes, well, he tried to sign up for coverage through the Nevada state-based exchange, and he thought that he was signed up. He paid his premium, but at the end of the day, something went wrong, and the insurer is saying that he was not covered, so he has to pay the bills that are over $400,000, which, of course, he's fighting, and the debate is still going on, but it's a very sad story.
Well, how does that happen? Now, you get in, you pay your premium. You know, my doctor, my hospital, they actually qualify me. They call the insurance company and make sure that my insurance is going to pay for it before they ever give me the procedure. So how did he slip through the cracks and get this horrible bill and no insurance?
Well, I think that's just it. They're not sure how he slipped through the cracks, but the important part is that he did slip through the cracks, and this is a warning sign for anyone who's been purchasing on the exchange websites with all their technical difficulties, is before you go to the doctor, before you get help, any kind of healthcare service, you need to make sure that you are insured so that you're not on the hook for a big bill.
And when we talk about your article, tell us a little bit about this guy then. I know he's from Las Vegas, but, you know, is he one of these young guys that just didn't know what he was doing? Who is this fellow?
No, he wasn't. He was 62 years old, and he wanted to purchase health insurance. He tried to purchase it right away, but like many other people, experienced a lot of difficulties, and he certainly tried his best to verify that he was covered, and he did pay his premiums. I mean, this is a guy who really did everything right when it comes to purchasing his health insurance, and somehow is on the hook for this massive bill, and it's a very sad story, but hopefully in the end it will be remedied.
But interesting, in this article, they blame not the healthcare exchange in Nevada, not Nevada Health. They blame him. It's all his fault. How does that happen?
I'm not sure, because I read the article and I thought he did everything right. I mean, paying your premium means that you're covered in any other situation. So I definitely think that he did everything he could as a consumer. It's just, it seems like it was a technological malfunction on the exchange website or between the insurers regarding which insurer he had picked and what plan he had picked. I mean, he really seems to have done everything right from the article that I read. So certainly not his fault. But again, I think that this is going to be a problem facing a lot of the people who signed up on the exchanges, especially when they were so broken in the very beginning of the enrollment process.
Well, and it looks like they're saying that he filled out 4 separate applications while signing up, so that's what makes it his problem. But one of the things that we found from these exchanges and from even healthcare.gov is that you could get on, but you get dropped. So it made you feel like you had to continue to apply in order to finally get through. Is that kind of your assessment as well? I mean, they're saying it's because he put in 4 applications that he didn't get covered. I would think he'd be covered 4 times better.
Right, I would think wherever his premium dollars went, I would think that's where he's covered under. But, I remember trying to look at the exchange when they first launched on October 1st and not being able to get anywhere. So you would start the process, you fill out a few pieces of information about yourself, and then you get kicked off. So then you try again a few days later, and you go through the same process, and I think that that's what happened to him. He clearly wanted health insurance, and he did everything he could, but at the end of the day, it's a product of a malfunctioning website.
So can we sue the government? I guess that's the bottom line here. What kind of recourse does he have? Is he going to have to pay this $407,000 bill?
I'm not sure what his legal options are because we don't know the exact details of, when he logged on and where exactly his premium dollars went, but I would assume that there's going to be a lawsuit somewhere because the average American doesn't have $400,000 lying around to pay for a medical event. So I think that I'm sure he'll be fighting this and trying to figure out whoever accepted his premium dollars is going to have to pay, I would assume.
Well, it's an interesting thing when the government gets involved and we try to sue the government. It doesn't seem like you really can do that. It's one of those things that's kind of outside our recourse as citizens to sue the government. And I wonder if we won't, as citizens, just be picking up this $500,000, almost $500,000 tab just because, as you point out, he can't pay it. So it kind of goes on the taxpayer or whoever's at the hospital. What do you think?
But that could certainly be an option. I mean, that's what happened before when people were uninsured and received medical care. So, again, it's just, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the courtroom, but the bill's going to have to be paid, and I'm assuming it won't be him. So whether it's the taxpayer who has to come through and pick up the tab, or it's the 2 insurers in this case that are fighting over who is actually covering him, we'll have to see how it shakes out, but I'm sure that he doesn't have $400,000 lying around.
Well, we're going to a break here in a few minutes, actually right now. Allie, can you stay with us through the break?
Sure, absolutely.
We're talking with Allie Sanger. She is with Heritage Foundation, and we're talking about a man who signed up for Obamacare, who now owes $407,000 in medical bills, the promise and the peril of state exchanges. You're listening to Conservative Commandos Radio Show with Sharon Angle and Rick Trader and our guest, Allie Sanger. We'll be back right after these messages.
They say I'm crazy, I really don't care. That's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but I...
Oh, how I'm longing for the day when I'm back at Orchid Bay, where the silver water glistens in the sun.
When is the last time you raced a small boat across wide open water? Tired of snow, traffic jams, cold weather, you need a refreshing change of scenery, a world away. The Bahama Islands have vacation rental homes and apartments. Enjoy spectacular nature in the Abacos Islands. Enjoy refreshing Caribbean beauty, fishing, snorkeling, scuba, the beach. www.enjoyabaco.com. That's ABACO. Enjoyabaco.com.
As I sail across the Sea of Abaco, smiling 'cause I know only one more mile to go.
Enjoyabaco.com.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
The Conservative Commandos Radio Show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, fellow patriots. Welcome back once again to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. Program note: if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 10:10 this evening, please go to patriotsride.org. And we're speaking with Allie Singer from the Heritage Foundation, and we're talking about a 62-year-old man who paid his premiums under Obamacare, but has gotten stuck with a $407,000 bill. Allie Singer, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show.
Great to be here.
Allie, this man, the 62-year-old man, had a heart condition to begin with. Not much younger than what I am. Actually signed up 4 times. Actually paid his premiums. And he's being blamed for this bill because he signed up 4 times. Allie, I know you're a lot younger than I am, and I know younger people are more efficient when it comes to computers. Allie, I can't tell you how many times that I have sent 4 emails because I didn't think it went through the first time, or bought things a couple of times because I didn't think the order went through the first time. Can you see how easily this man would make a mistake, especially on a system, on an Obamacare system that had such problems to start out with?
Absolutely, and I don't think he's the only one. He might be the only one in this extreme predicament that we know of right now, but I'm sure there are plenty of Americans who tried to log on to either the federal exchange or a state-based exchange and encountered the same issues. You have to remember the federal exchange that services 36 states wasn't working properly for 2 full months into the open enrollment period. So while the administration was advertising the law, people were going to healthcare.gov and filling out multiple applications if it didn't go through the first time. And this took 2 full months to get it working properly.
Well, Allie, actually, this man is not alone, because one broker told a Las Vegas newspaper that more than 20 of its customers had issues similar to this guy did. So he's not alone. These other 20 people just didn't happen to get caught the way this guy, Mr. Bosch, did.
Absolutely. And just to point out that these exchanges were taxpayer funded. The Nevada exchange received $91 million in grant money from the federal taxpayer to build their website.
$91 million to build a website, Allie?
Yep, absolutely. And that's actually on the low end for some of the state-based exchanges. The exchange in Oregon cost over $300 million, and it still can't enroll anyone online from start to finish. And open enrollment is less than 2 weeks away from over, and it's still not working. So in total, the federal taxpayers spent $4.9 billion to states to build websites.
You know, Allie, I think one of the saddest things about this man is not just that he's 62, has a problem, is stuck with a $407,000 bill now. You know, this man may have to go bankrupt. If this can't be straightened out, if he don't have that kind of money, he may have to go bankrupt. He may end up losing everything that he's worked his life for. But I'll tell you, here's a real sad quote, Allie, from this guy. All I wanted to do when I moved here was to buy a house, get a dog, and go to some spring training games for the Dodgers. That's all the man wanted to do. Now he's got a bad heart. He's $407,000 in debt. I mean, it doesn't get that. You know, when I think I got problems, Allie, this guy's got real problems.
Yes, it certainly puts it all into perspective, doesn't it?
It sure does. Hey, Sharon, I want to get back to you for a minute, Sharon. I think we'll bring you back into the conversation. I guess this has also been making big news out there your way?
Well, absolutely. It's just part and parcel of why we're going to repeal our state exchange. And Allie points out there's a double catch here. We pay for the federal health care exchange, then we pay tax dollars for the state exchanges, and they all are doing the exact same thing, collecting the exact data, and they have all failed. So she's really pointed out everything that's wrong with Obamacare and these exchanges. You did a blog for Heritage, Watch Out 20-somethings, how Obamacare hits young people, Allie. Can you just talk about this? My granddaughter's 22. She lives there in Philadelphia, and she's one of those uninsured. And actually, she's gone on the exchanges and can't find anything that they can really afford. So what would you say to my 22-year-old granddaughter about health care insurance?
Well, certainly Obamacare doesn't do young adults any favors when it comes to premiums. There's a provision in the law that forces insurers in the individual market to charge young people artificially higher premiums than they would have paid prior. So this is definitely having a big impact on young adults. And he either has to purchase health insurance or pay the individual mandate penalty. So I don't know how much money she makes, but she this year will either have to pay $95 or 1% of her income, whichever is greater. So thanks to Obamacare, there is no choice. The government is mandating that you purchase coverage that it deems adequate.
Hey, Sharon, can I just jump in for a minute? I just want to ask Allie. Allie, how old are you?
I'm 24.
You're 24. I wanted to ask you about your friends. Are your friends realizing, your personal friends realizing what a mess they've been put into?
I don't think so yet. I think young people will get it eventually, but the big issue with health insurance and health care reform forever has been that people genuinely like what they have, and my friends have employer-sponsored insurance. So if it doesn't touch them directly, then they just kind of tune out. And we really need to get people engaged on this issue because, as you see, when you're not engaged, when you're not paying attention to the policies that get you health care reform, this is what you end up with. And we need young people particularly to get engaged on this fight and realize what Obamacare is doing to them.
One more question, Allie, then I'll throw it back over to Sharon. You're a very intelligent young woman. You get it.
Thank you.
But does it frustrate you that your friends don't?
Absolutely. I can't believe when they say, and especially because, of course, I talk about it all the time, and they say, well, I don't care. I have insurance. I like my plan. What does it mean to me? Well, it means 18 new taxes and $2 trillion in new government spending, adding to the $17 trillion of national debt that we already have. But this is the issue today, that people just can't connect the dots Obamacare isn't just free birth control, okay? Nothing is free, number one. That's the number one thing to try to instill into everyone, that you're not just getting free birth control, you're paying for that through increased premiums. So getting Americans in general, young people especially, to stop listening to the sound bites you hear on TV and start researching what some of this really means.
Now, just before we go, I want you to explain how they've sold this to the states, these state exchanges. This is the problem in Nevada. This is what's happened to the 62-year-old man in Nevada with the $407,000 bill. Why is it that they keep telling us that we have more control in our states than we do at the federal level? Is that a hoax, or is there more control at the state level?
No, I think you're spot on this. That's a hoax. I think at the end of the day, it's the same insurance policies that are being offered through the 36 state exchanges run by the federal government. I mean, sure, Nevada is now on the hook for fixing it. I mean, it's federally funded, yes, to the tune of $91 million, like I said. But what can Nevada really do other than take responsibility for the failure that is its exchange? And you mentioned talking about giving back the exchange to the federal government. But that raises the very important question of what happens to the $91 million that federal taxpayers spent in Nevada? Is there a way for the federal government to recoup that money?
Allie, I'm sorry, Allie. I got to jump in because you know about that $91 million? More wasted taxpayer money. It's as simple as that. That money's gone. That'll never be retrieved. That's flushed down the toilet. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's exactly what it is, Allie. You know that.
I wish that weren't the case.
Me too.
Nevada was at the lower end. This is $4.9 billion that went to the states to build exchanges. $4.9 billion.
Well, you know, Allie, I'm so glad that we have you here because, you know, you give me hope. You're a young person that gets it. And I hope you can educate your friends. Allie Singer, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Allie, give us websites. Where can people go to follow the work of Heritage and also of yourself?
You should go to heritage.org and click on the healthcare issues page. We have all kinds of research on the impacts of the Affordable Care Act and what those provisions in there actually mean for you. So heritage.org is the healthcare page.
Well, Allie Singer, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the Conservative Commandos radio show. Hope we can have you on as a guest again.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Hey, Sharon, what a great show. We had a great show. I always enjoy Thursday. I always enjoy working with you. And we got about 30 seconds. Sharon, final thought?
Well, I can just say that I couldn't agree more with Allie. State exchanges are a hoax. They're, like you said, money that's been wasted, and we're never going to recover this. And now we're seeing the real consequences to real people in their pocketbooks, not only just their tax dollars, but now their insurance dollars.
All right. I want to thank our guest today, Dr. Elizabeth Vliet, Ken Shepard from the Media Research Center, Allie Singer from Heritage Foundation, and especially you, Sharon Engel. Great to work with you again. But for right now, we're out of time. We got to run. We got to go. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow on the radio.
Thank you for listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show. Huge thanks to our co-hosts, contributors, patrons, callers, and our friends at WNJC 1360 and WIFI 1460, where we broadcast live every Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 to 4 p.m. Central. Look for us on the internet at www.ccrshow.com. Until next time, we are the Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard.